Welcome to the channel, Gaming Army. In this video, I tackle the question, is the Hellfire Void hero mech any good? Let me know your thoughts on the subject and your experiences with this mech in the comments below. And in the meantime, let's roll up our sleeves and see if we can't get some definitive answers about this mech. While we roll up our sleeves and dig into that question, I'm going to throw some eye candy at you in the form of 2 drops coming your way. We'll let those play out in the background while we have our discussion. This first one is a skirmish match from HPG Manifold, and that's going to allow us to dig deeper into the Hellfire Void. Now, at first glance of the chassis from the outside, most people are going to be struck by the fact that this is kind of a squat, stubby, wider type build in its stance and appearance. We'll circle back to that a little bit later on, but right now I want to get under the hood in stock loadout. What can you guys expect out of this mech straight from the factory? So, diving under the hood, we can see that from the factory it comes with an Ultra AC-10, Ultra AC-5, heavy mediums, heavy smalls, SRM-6, and oh my, yes, it also has Mask, and Mask is always fun. And checking our survivability, armor rating is 345, armor plates of 402. So that's what you can expect to find on this mech straight from the factory. So it's a really interesting build, even in stock format. And right away I'm thinking to myself that this could be a pretty good mid-range, close-in build, kind of using that mask to get yourselves around the board, and it would throw out a decent amount of damage. I think the alpha is rated at 60, which is not too shabby for this little mech. So that is all well and good, but the second stop of our tour has to be to take a look at the quirks. I want to see if there's something special or spectacular that we need to be aware of with this particular mech and or build. So switching over to the quirks, obviously this is a hero mech, so we're going to have the 30% C build bonus. Interestingly though, you have a UAC jam chance of minus 20%. Very, very interesting. You also have missile cooldown of minus 15%. That could come in handy. You have some decent armor quirks, I would say, and then it looks like they've thrown on some cooldown and laser range quirks just for good measure. So all in all, not too bad. Definitely interesting if you're looking to do something with UACs and or missiles on this particular mech. And here comes the first round of questions and head scratching, because most of you are sitting there thinking you've said all that wonderful things about the Hellfire Void build and quirks, and we're looking in the bottom right hand corner and your mech has none of that. Well, I never claimed to be an expert. Remember, a lot of this is for entertainment value only, so do as I say, not as I do. Yep, that's going to be the mantra. Absolutely. Yes, there have been some radical changes to my build, so let's take a look at that. A 60-ton mech, 81 kph. I do have the mask at my disposal. I did leave that on, but I'm running 2 clan ERPPCs, 1 LB10. That gives me a 30 alpha, which is less. I get it. I'm trying something radically different with this one. I want to leverage my speed, maneuverability, and the peaking ability that this mech brings to the table. We'll see how this goes. I don't know. It could fail miserably. You never know. However, the biggest reason why I've gone with this build comes down to velocity. No, I'm not talking about the mask again. Not my mech's velocity. I'm talking about weapons velocity, because the ERPPCs travel slightly faster than the LB10 rounds. And that means, in theory, I should be able to alpha strike, have the ERPPCs hit a component, weaken and or open it, with a follow-up with the shotgun pellets for crits. I don't know if that'll work out per se, but that's the attempt. So going back into this drop to see how things are going to play out, I've gotten myself focused by an enemy sniper somewhere in that Fox 5 region, and I don't like it. So, since I got out of his line of sight, I've gone to the basement. That keeps me safe. I'm kind of locked in here, especially with that enemy UAV over top of me, and I can't get the angle to take it down. Luckily, a teammate does. That allows me a little more movement. I'm really, really looking for that sniper. I could not see him. Kudos to him, by the way. But he's making it more difficult, except there I can see there's something over... There he is. He's on the ramp. Okay. I opened my right torso to get that information, but now that I've got the information, I'm going to head back through the basement. I want to see if I can get into a right flank position here now that I know his location. He's going to be looking more towards the rest of my team, so maybe, just maybe, I can pull this off and take him unawares. Earlier in this match, we were doing some good work on the Blood Ass. We got the back of that Phoenix Hawk pretty hard, and we were picking on the Marauder as well, doing a good bit of damage. Hopefully, we've been setting off some of those annoying klaxons in people's cockpits, warning them that they've taken critical damage. And coming around this right side, I hope to continue that. Looks like most of them are pushing into the Echo 5, Echo 6 area. There's a Hellbringer with a right leg that's open. The PPCs are also nice for canceling out ECM. And there he is. There's our Gauss sniper from before. And we are in his backside. So we're going to open him up as much as possible. Getting a bit toasty. And a teammate secures the kill. And that takes the nasty sniper out of play. And I'm okay with that. And since he's not up here, I'm going to come up here because that'll get me height and also give me an angle on these last couple of enemy units. In fact, there's the last one now. Try to get some shots in on him. And my team's going to bring home the win on this one. We wind up with no kills, but 9 assists, 681 damage done. Moving on to our next drop. This one has us playing skirmish mode again, this time on Frozen City. And we're going to let this one play out as we wrap up our discussion of the Hellfire Void Hero mech. So, you've seen the stock loadout and what to expect out of the gate. We've taken a look at some quirks that it has, and you've gotten an idea of what this mech looks like on the battlefield and what it can do. Yes, it's not the stock loadout, but you can kind of see how this thing handles under fire. And if you've liked the content so far, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. It does help the channel grow. The goal is to get this information out to as many pilots as possible, especially some of the newer pilots coming into the game. And while you're at it, make sure you turn on the notification button so that you don't miss any future content. So diving back into our discussion, there's really nothing left except for the final wrap-up. My final thoughts, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, let's start with the good. Obviously, Mask is really, really nice on this mech. It gives you a big jump in speed from 81 kph to 102.1 kph. 102.1 is going to put you on the same footing with a lot of light mechs. This could be potentially a nice hunter-killer build if you choose to go that route. Second thing, and I'm not sure everyone was paying attention to this when we looked under the hood before, but the sensor range on this mech is outstanding. With no boosts, no quirks, it's at 1,080 meters that you can detect the enemies. Now, going back to something I mentioned early on in the video, we talked about its appearance. That low-profile squat appearance, I actually like it because that means you are really set for vertical peaking in this mech. You have high weapon mounts up on the left and right shoulders for at least 2 of your pylons, and you're not going to crest a hill, get your top torso lit up before your weapons clear terrain. Now, in all fairness, that is also a double-edged sword because it's a bit wide. That means this mech is really not suited for the horizontal side-to-side peeking because you're going to expose more of your mech before you can get out and around the corners of whatever cover you're hiding behind. So stay with the vertical. The biggest negative that I have to caution you on this mech is that armor that we talked about. Remember, this is only 345 armor plates of 402 in stock loadout, and even with the quirks and adding more armor in, this is really where you're going to run into some problems. You cannot play this like a heavy mech. It isn't. You're going to play this more like a medium mech. And to put it into context, that armor rating will put it somewhere between, I don't know, a little bit better than a Hunchback and less than most of the Wolverines. So keep that in the back of your mind when you're playing this mech. It is a bit squishy, even though it's a heavy mech. It's only 60 tons. It's one of the lighter heavy mechs. Getting back to the action in this drop, it's a pretty close match. We took out a crab earlier. Hopefully you saw the shot on Kilo, the direwolf, earlier as well, taking out his left side. And now we're going to repeat the same process on the Supernova, taking half of his mech, and now we're going to go in for the kill. And that's what this build was designed to do. And we want that kill shot on the right torso with our LB, and there it is. So we finish this drop off with a victory, 2 kills, 530 damage done, 5 components destroyed.